I like the typing. Good morning, everybody. It's Ted Bogert. We are back with the Ted Show, kicking off this Monday with the one and only Cindy DeCoster. What's up, Cindy? She's back. It's Fierce Forward Mondays. We're going to finish up our discussion on embracing the leader within you. We only got to the first three. So much to talk about. Good morning, Cindy. How you doing?
Good morning, Ted. I'm doing great. How are you on this Easter Monday?
Fantastic. I feel good. It's beautiful out. You know, it's going to be an amazing week. I've just decided.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, we have a very busy DeCoster family week in store, and we're just super excited to kick it off.
All good stuff. All right. So refresh their memory on who you are if they don't know.
Sure.
And then let's talk a little bit about what we talked about last week and then dive into the next 3 or 4.
Okay, great. Well, I'm Cindy DeCoster. I am the co-owner with my husband, Sean, of Fierce Realty here in Central Florida. We have 2 locations, one in Orlando, right across from Gatorland, and one in Eustis, beautiful Lake County. So come and check us out. We have Fierce agents. Fierce is an acronym we use for fearless, intentional, energetic, resilient, courageous, and do everything to a standard of excellence. And that is a service and real estate professionals you can expect to work with Fierce Realty. CindyForTheCouncil.com is my website that you can learn more about me and learn about my journey to become the 2022 National Treasurer for Women's Council of Realtors. So thank you, everyone.
We had people ask, when is the vote on that?
Early May. Early May.
Mm-hmm. So about a month.
Yeah, the countdown is on. So come
Can they find that information on CindyForTheCouncil.com?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's it's a governing board membership that is the voting delegates, but by all means go to my website to learn more about me, my journey, and what you can expect as I join the team.
2021. Yeah. All right, so let's recap. So we started embracing the leader within. Such a great topic, because I think we talked a little bit about how people are sort of afraid of that, or they don't even know where to start, and they feel like they have some sort of idea or leadership abilities, and maybe not necessarily do they know how to tap into them. So we talked about the first 3, I think. Will you recap for us what those are?
Yeah, I've kind of broke it down into 7 steps of kind of embracing the fierce leader within. Step 1 is to lead by example. You show up in your words and your actions before anything. So by all means, they are lead by example, not just what you say, but what you do. 2, create healthy habits, positive affirmations, uplifting quotes, exercise, spiritual, everything to kind of frame your day into positive action. And then remain calm under pressure is number 3. That's really important. Don't let your reaction be your response is a quote that I just completely embrace and need you to as well. That, people will see how you react. And if that is your response, it's not exactly always your best way to show up. So,
it's a learned behavior, I feel like. I've had to work on it to not, I'm Italian. And I'm generalizing here, but I just feel like we grew up in a very boisterous family, loud family stuff. And reaction was a normal thing. You reacted, you got it out, it was over. Everybody hugged and then had another nice glass of Chianti at the end, even if you were 5 years old. That's another time.
True
but
story.
What I think people don't know is they haven't figured out that their reaction or how they react is so much a part of either the problem or the positive.
True. Very, very, very true. So they say you cannot control your reflex, but your reflex should not be your response.
Yes.
So you can control every thought and action after your first. So I always say, my face gives me away all the time. So now
100%.
Now that
this is why I do this sometimes.
Right. Now that there's a mask involved, that saved me, I'm sure. But it is very true. You cannot control your first impression.
Reflex, yep.
But you can control everything after that. So
That's
becoming intentional about how you respond. That, people look to you for your calm. A lot of people, not a lot of people, there are people that are egging you on and like saying things or doing things just to kind of get your goat. You know what I mean?
Yes, button pushers. Yes, yeah. I'm aware of those.
And so learning how to be calm under pressure is a real one. It is a learned behavior for absolute sure, but it's a teaching behavior too. And so as a leader, to embrace that fierce leader within, really control is the best. Control your response. Make sure that you are seeking to understand what's being said. Why are they asking it? You know what I mean? Really kind of dive in deep so that you can kind of like process the, like, if you ever will study me or watch me, I'm like, my brain is like going 100 miles a minute going like, why did they say that? What are they looking for? What, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to figure out what are they, the why behind the question. And when you really are teaching your members, your Women's Council members, your fellow realtors, your fellow loan officers, whoever you're working with, if you'll teach them how to analyze information and kind of really be intentional about the response, that's very, very powerful.
It's very powerful because you can tell people, there are certain people that we all know we avoid because their reaction is always so much worse than even the beginning or the end. It's a very uncomfortable place. Eggshells, walking on eggshells. You have those people who just haven't learned how to have a true reflective moment before they actually react.
Yeah.
It's very hard it's not hard. It just takes a lot of practice to train yourself.
Intentionality is really true. Is really, really true.
All right.
Which leads us into number 4.
Number 4.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You start. Recap is good. So
recap is good. Number 4. I'm ready.
Okay. So lead by example, create healthy habits, remain calm under pressure. Those are your top 3. Number 4 is be prepared. And that leads into how to be intentionally responsive. If you are prepared, you should have thought through a lot of the roadblocks that could come up, the potential blind spots and things like that. So being prepared is really important. It is how
do you prepare? Let's talk about being prepared. Because I think a lot of people think, okay, I have it all here, so we're good. I'm going to remember every bit of it. Those people are the ones that drive me most insane because I'm a visual person. And so I need to see it in writing. And the people who cannot meet me there, I usually have a hard time doing business with because they're all ethereal.
Right.
It's all up here.
I love what you're saying. I love what you're saying because it is so, this is absolutely what it means to be prepared. So to have a goal, that's great. You know where you're going, you know where your destination is. But being prepared talks about the planning process. Making sure that you are setting the dominoes up so that they line up to finish on point, and knowing when you hit a milestone that you are on track or off track. So having incremental pieces along the way so that you can double check and recheck that you are either on track or you are way off pace.
Yes.
So that's where so fierce, focused, and flexible is one of my washes that I like to do. So be fiercely focused on your goal, but you need to be flexible in your strategies to make sure that you can adjust your sails as the winds shift. So it's not meant to derail you or topsy-turvy your boat. It's meant to okay, now it's time to shift your sails to kind of use the momentum of the wind behind you. But it takes somebody to be really understanding, really thoughtful of that big picture, so that if you are analytical, I can show you facts and figures and bottom line it for you. Or if you are a visual learner, then I can paint the picture in the light that you need and speak in the language you need to hear.
Yes.
But if you are not prepared and you only have recorded a script and memorized a script, then you do not know how to translate into the language of the people that you are leading and that you are speaking to.
Agreed.
Make sense?
Totally.
Yeah. So that is the big 50,000 view picture of what it means to be prepared. Like, you have to know the ins and outs, and be prepared that, you know what, you may hit a blind spot that you hadn't thought about. And it's okay to pause and say, you know what, that's a great question. I hadn't looked at it from that angle. Give me some time and get back, and come back. When you are prepared, you can say that with authority, not like, oh crud, I don't know what I'm going to say, because you've thought through one scenario, or you've thought through 50, and somebody that's thought through 50 scenarios and comes up with one that they hadn't thought of, that's prepared. That you can tell by their body language and their real like thought-provoking pause. Does that make sense?
True. Yes, totally.
Yeah.
All right, be prepared.
Be prepared. Make sure that you know that you are creating. If you are a fierce, embracing that fierce leader within, you are creating more leaders, not followers. So you have to be prepared to kind of speak in the different languages. So I love that. Number 5 is be disciplined. Like, you have to be disciplined. We have squirrels exist all over the place, right? So we are the highest. I can't even help but, like, I see a car drive by.
Listen,
I see a car drive
I'm
by.
Guilty too.
I can't help but see it out of the corner of my eye and, like, turn. It's not that I'm not paying attention. It's just like, I'm observant, and therefore, when you are observant, you are constantly seeing, hearing, reacting to your environment to kind of absorb it and use it for your greatest purpose. But clear focus on your goals. Make sure that if you have something to do, you are blocked off, and for me, I am close the blinds. I am, tunnel vision, and I am get to work. And
because we have to in our world. I think people, if you have a schedule where it looks like it's blank all day, and you try to convert that to a day like Cindy and I have, or most of the people who watch the show have, it is very difficult for you to understand. If you're one of those people with a blank slate, and one of those people like us, they get stressed. I actually have people who have looked at my calendar and said, I'm stressed out.
Right.
But if I can't get that work done, and I'm not intentional and prepared, and I have not thought it out, and I don't block the time, I can't do 2 to 3 shows a day, work with VIP Mortgage Group, do philanthropy, family time, friends. I don't know how anybody functions like that. But my friends who literally have nothing planned, they love it. But they cannot come to the table with any kind of plan either.
Correct.
So again, it's a learned practice. You have to practice it. I mean, the fact that I have a calendar where I have to look and see if I can eat from, I don't know, 11:17 to 11:28 today. I mean, but it's the only way that I know how to function, and it allows me to multitask, if that's not an overused word, do a ton of stuff and still get it all accomplished, or at least most of it.
Absolutely. And it's not even, because I hate, personally, I hate the word multitasking, because that, to me it's always, you're not doing any one thing 100%.
I know. But jack of no trades is what I am.
Yeah, correct. But if you can move swiftly between task to task, then you can absolutely by being disciplined, you can check it off the list, and it's not multitasking. It's just getting a blank amount done at a time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's with a purpose. So again, it's being fiercely disciplined and treating your schedule with respect. It really, so I could fully be here, and then, random internet falls down, power goes down, and then we're like, oh,
what do you got to do?
Like, okay, so yeah, so it's being disciplined to make it all happen,
Yes.
Absolutely, and have a follow through plan. You can't just wing it and expect it to happen. So when you are disciplined, kind of like they talk about working like you are going on vacation the next day.
Yes.
You are never more focused, more clear, and more checking things off the list with a veracity than the day before a vacation. Am I right?
It's
right?
so true.
It's
so true.
But what does it mean? You are planned and disciplined. Like that's like absolutely. And you are distraction free, because the next thing is so awesome. Nothing is going to distract you.
That's
so
right.
And speaking about your schedule being crazy, like ours, like the both of ours is what I'm tongue-tied this morning.
Me too. You're good.
But you have to be so on point, and go, you know what? I can fit it in. I just have to be disciplined.
Okay, that is such a great point. So I want to go. So people do watch the show, believe it or not. My kids aren't really sure why yet. It's only been almost 4 years. So people will ask me, okay, but are you really that structured? Or people will say, oh, Ted, I know we were supposed to meet at 11:30. Does 12:30 work? And then they're hurt because I can't make 12:30 work.
Right.
Sweetie, I've had 12:30 booked for like 3 weeks.
Right.
So the shift for me is difficult for people who don't plan down to that crazy level. And trust me, it's a crazy level. I'm not saying it's not.
It is.
But people who don't plan don't understand the lack of flexibility.
Right.
For them, it works. For me, it just doesn't. And so it seems sometimes I'm a little more inflexible than I am, but it's because we have planned something out. I plan.
Right, for sure.
I like to plan.
Yeah, so 2 things. One, work will expand to the time allotted. So if I have 2 weeks to do something, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to still work it in the 30-minute segment or hour, 2 hour, whatever that it really is going to take. And I'm going to wait till the day before. I mean, it's, so it becomes a organized priority, right? So
yes.
It's about being flexible, but it's about being disciplined and understanding what's what is allowable. And people that don't respect their own time won't respect your time. So
correct.
It's a teachable moment that they'll learn to be more on time and more disciplined with their time because they're working with you.
It's so true. And you went out for a little bit. That's so true. Okay, so I talked my ear off on that. What's next? My bad.
Okay, that's okay. Number 6 is accountability. And I think we touched on this last week too. But you need to be accountable. You have to be honest with yourself. Take a real tough look in the mirror. And you know what? I am so not perfect. It's, that is, that ship has sailed. I always say, like, mother of the year, that ship has sailed a long time ago. Like, I'm not perfect. But here's what I am. I'm really honest with myself. I know that I'm not perfect. I don't even strive to be perfect. I strive to be better than I was yesterday
Correct.
Or a minute ago or what have you. And so be accountable. In order to be accountable, you have to be honest. Like, you know what? You can't wish to lose weight while you're eating chocolate cake. It doesn't, that's like, look at yourself.
I've experimented. It doesn't really work.
I speak firsthand. I know how that is. It does not work. But you have to be honest with yourself. If you're going to be accountable, you have to be accountable for your words, accountable for your actions, and stop making excuses. Like, you have to just, so it's not about like, you know, wishing for it, it's working for it. And are you better than you were yesterday? So stop competing with other people, stop wishing for things, start working for things, and say, you know what, when people say, one of the like makes my, you know, tweaks me is when people say, well, I've done my best.
Oh my God, pet peeve.
It's a pet peeve.
It's like when somebody dies and they go, I'm so sorry for your loss. I didn't lose my keys. I lost somebody close to me. I hate that. Sorry. Pet peeves. Yes, go back.
Pet peeves.
Yes, I've done my best. Well, we've established that's not good enough right now.
Right.
I'm terrible.
It's no, but I mean, again, it's talking about being honest. Like, if you're going to be accountable, let's be honest. Have you done your best? Did you, like, blood, sweat, and tears it out? Then that's, you know.
But I've had people when I owned the insurance agencies, I had tons of people would say to me, I did my best. And I started to believe that and then slowly replace them because their best wasn't good enough for the organization I needed it to be. And so really be careful when you say I've done my best, because that tells me you're not going to do any more or any better. And if that doesn't align with my goals, my company, what I'm trying to accomplish, the relationship, then I'm out.
I agree.
Sorry.
That's so funny.
Ooh, we got crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, we have not shared that equal pet peeve, but that is a huge pet peeve of mine. Don't tell me you've done your best. Tell me all that you try. You know, what's Yoda say? Like, there is no try. I get that too. However, so I get that. Okay, I'm real. However, don't tell me you've done your best. Tell me what you've done, and take an honest look at yourself and say, I could have started earlier. I could have put in more hours. You know what I mean? And it's not about beating yourself up. Accountability is not a beat up session. Correct. Accountability is what work did you put in? Thoughtful reflection on your results, and being accountable to, you know, fiercely move forward. Having that courage to say, you know what? Next time I'm going to try this. Next time I'm going to push through. I'm going to start an hour earlier. You know what I'm saying?
And just because we're having an honest conversation about it doesn't mean you failed. Doesn't mean you should beat yourself up, like Cindy said. It's just accountability is exactly that. We have to talk about what we did and what we reached and why we didn't, if we didn't. Like, you have to have the obviously, or accountability means nothing if there's no discussion. Oh, I'm going to be accountable for that. Well, if nobody's calling you on the carpet or holding your hand and showing you or opening your eyes to it, then how are you supposed to improve?
Right. Well, and again, 100%, absolutely. And again, it's not a beat up session. It's a reflective thoughtfulness of what happened. A blameless evaluation is what accountability is. That's probably a good way to say it. I love that.
Very good.
A blameless, analytical look at what's going on. And if you had the opportunity to do it again, give me some strategies of things that you would do differently. That, to me, is accountability. Not just like, oh, that sucked, sorry. Like, that's not accountable. That's just, that may be the ownership. Owning that you didn't succeed.
And I understand, like, I have certain parts of my life where I have accountability. I mean, a ton of them, but the ones that I'm like you guys, sometimes I don't like it. I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes when somebody holds up the mirror, I'm like, damn, I don't really care for that right now. That's okay, but you have to get past it. You can't live in that. You can't let that direct you. So I had one, I won't say any names. So I had somebody who holds me accountable on something, pushed me a little bit on Friday. And I got to tell you, I got a little attitude. I was a little bitchy. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I took a deep breath and I'm like, that is exactly what that person needs to be doing for you, Ted. You need to do a better job.
Right.
Just because I got it doesn't mean it was easy to swallow, guys. Correct. So don't just think that everybody out here, Cindy and I, are the best and we're accountable to anybody. And, you know, I really do challenge it sometimes,
Yeah,
but I don't let it rule my world.
Correct. And that's the reaction versus response we're talking about. So, you know, again, they all tie together and are like layered on top of each other.
What number did we get to? Because we're almost out of time.
Okay, we got to number 6. And so number 7 is leads, you know, kind of the great punctuation is lift others up. Like don't be the heavy all the time. Don't be the lightweight. Again, mindful, thoughtful conversation, but lift each other up, encourage each other. We talk about the compliment sandwich, you know.
Oh yeah, talk about that again.
Yeah, so it's kind of the 3 C's. It's like you want to share the compliment of the positive feedback. Then you want to kind of get into the meat of what could be done better, what could be done differently, what could, you know, alternatives, and then leave it on a positive note. So compliment, critique, and compliment is the 3 C sandwich of when you give feedback. And again, nobody, you know, I used to say that I was my own worst critic. Now there's a line out the door, so I'm not sure that I'm the number one critic.
They're selling tickets for my hater party. I mean, right? It's fine.
So I kind of chuckle when I say like I'm my own worst critic. I'm like, yeah, no, actually I'm not anymore.
No, you're not.
So, but it's super true. Like you have to hear and absorb. And sometimes you have to kind of take it in the context to consider the source. But always understand there's probably a little bit of truth in everything that's said. Yeah. And so again, don't dwell on it. Don't take too much time on it. But you know, frame it for what it's worth. But absolutely, if you are in a privileged position to lead others, be kind, lift each other up. You may be the only person that gives them a compliment that day or makes them feel good about themselves. And if you have the opportunity to make someone smile, that's like the best job. That's the best job that make you feel great yourself, that you know, impacted, influenced, and inspired their day in even just the smallest way. So
and when you begin to do that, first of all, you're going to see a huge shift in your life, I promise.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm also going to tell you that you're going to begin to realize that the crap that you accept on you from people who don't lift you up and who do not support you and do not try to praise you and rise above, you're going to find less and less time and less energy focused on those people. And that's a good thing.
Right.
Because you're shifting your entire paradigm to lift others up. Well, guess what? That's taking you with it. So you're not going to put up with the person who always puts you down, that you said, oh, they just have my best interest at heart. I call bullshit on that Monday morning. You have to really evaluate that. And if you're not feeling lifted up, I don't mean you can't be accountable, but lifted up, then you might want to reevaluate your little circle.
Absolutely. Jim Rohn, I love his quotes. I think he's such a brilliant man, and I enjoy him and his treasury of quotes. Amazing. And he says, you are the sum total of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
So true.
And so if you are constantly the one lifting others up, you know, you might want to think twice about who else could be in your closer circle, because if you have to refill your. I'm telling you,
you have to refill your cup
today.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
All right, so you have to refill your cup. All right, Cindy, before it kicks me out, tell us how we can reach you. What's the best way to find out about what's going on with Cindy DeCoster?
Please, thank you. Cindy, the number 4, thecouncil.com. To learn more about me, connect with me, private message me. All the contact, all the links are there. Cindy, the number 4, thecouncil.com. I would love to connect and help bring out the fierce leader in you.
Fantastic. All right, guys, we'll be back next week with Cindy DeCoster. That's a great way to kick off.
Thank you.
The Monday. Don't know why I'm feeling feisty, but watch out for the rest of my shows and meetings.
All right, sounds great.